Trinesha, Catrell.
Hi, this is Trinesha Catrell, and welcome to First Love Yourself, where love, life, and Christ combine. I am so grateful to have you here on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment with me. In today's video, we are going to talk about liar, liar. But before we get started, if you're new here, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more uplifting and empowering content like this. So get comfortable because we are about to get into it. Let's go. This is take two for those of you that don't know. I deleted the other video, but listen, your girl was struggling over here. I don't know what was happening. I done got tongue tied. It was a whole mess, but we done got it straight. It's together now because I was trying to lean on myself instead of God. And I know people don't want to say that, but I feel like being transparent in this video is a thing that will let you know the difference between when you working with God and when you working on you're leaning on your own understanding. And in my life, sometimes I feel like, oh, I got to do all of these things in order to accomplish something in life. And God humbles me real quick. Like, I was ready to go into this video. I had these notes typed up of the things that I thought I was going to talk about. And then I was like, I'm sitting here trying to think of all the things that I want to say. And usually when I do these videos, I just give it to God and I say, God, whatever is your will, allow me to say the things so that I can reach the person that you intend for me to reach and not just someone that I selfishly want to reach or something that I'm selfishly going through or my own self gain. I want to make sure that it's all God's will and not my will. Not my will be done, but his will be done. That it's everything that you see in this video is going to be me being a reflection of the things that God wants this person to know or to learn or to understand. And he leads the right people to this video. It's not about glorifying me. It's about glorifying God when I do these videos. And I was reminded real quick a second ago, like, listen, it's not about me. This is about God. And sometimes when we start to get better in our field, when we start to do things in life, we really feel like we are the ones that are making these things happen. We feel like the gift is better than the gifter. The creations are better than the creator. But the whole time it's all God. Like, I can't imagine being able to do this video without God. I'm such a people person, but when it comes to doing lives, when it comes to doing things like this, I get so nervous usually, and I'm usually in my head so much, over analyzing everything because I want things to be a specific type of way. But when I'm leaning on God's understanding, when I'm allowing God to lead me, it allows things to just flow because God is the one that's speaking through me, because God is allowing me to say my truth, and I'm allowing him to take complete control. Sometimes I forget that when you let God take control of the things that he's already in control of in life, instead of trying to do it yourself, it really does go a lot smoother. We really do the most of the time, trying to be out here in these streets just doing everything, like at the job, just trying to be in everything, when God is saying be in this field, in this position until I tell you to move. We really try to be with this guy, and God's like, that ain't the one. You need to move on with your life, keep it going. Like, and we be trying to force things so much, and the whole time God is saying that's not equally yoked with your life. That's not equally yoked with you. That's not the person. That's not the person. That's not the person. And he keeps on trying to tell us over and over again to move on, let things go, to let go and let God do what it is that only he can do in our lives. And we get so beside ourselves and arrogant and thinking that it's really our strength, our own strength, that is making these impossible things happen in our life, or that is allowing us to have opportunities in our career. But it's God that's opening those doors. And every door that is open, like Devon Franklin said, is going to be a door that holds your faith. So never walk through a door that doesn't hold your faith, because that means that God is not in that opportunity. So when I thought about liar and liar, it made me think about the other day when I was reading the scripture, and it talked about the winnowing. And winnowing was when you separate things from grain. So usually it's pest, it could be chaff, it could be a whole bunch of different things. And I had to look up what chaff was, because let me be real in saying that I did not know what chaff was, because I don't use that in everyday language. Okay. And so as I did some research, I found out that chaff is something that is comparatively nothing compared to what the grain is. It is like a unimportant thing compared to what this grain is. And also, it brought another scripture to mind as I thought about the chaffing. I thought about separating the wheat from the weeds. And when we're separating wheat from the weeds in the Bible, it talks about how a farmer goes and he plants wheat, and the thief, the enemy, comes and plants weeds among wheat so that we don't know the difference between the two. And the guy says something about cutting down or pulling out all of the wheats and the weeds and everything. And he's like, no, because it grew together. So it's going to be hard to separate the two because you're not going to be able to differentiate it when it's in its seed form. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a whole word. Because sometimes when things are new in our life, when that position looks so good, when that man or that woman looks so good, and you out here and you're just like, oh my gosh, but but they go to church, but they're so kind. Whatever your excuse is, or the thing that you think that you're looking for, but God didn't say yes to, that's the thing that looks like it's going to come out to be wheat, and the whole time it's weeds. It's not something that is going to benefit your life. It's going to choke the life out of you. It's going to be the thing that stunts your growth. It's going to be the thing that causes you to be more sad because it's not adding to your purpose. It's pulling you away from God instead of closer to God. It's going to be the thing that really makes you feel super stressed out. I try to make something work in the past, and let me tell you something. Whoo, I could tell 100% God was not in that. Nothing was wrong with the person. The person was so kind, the best person that I've probably ever been with in my entire life. Okay, let's not say that, because my kingdom spouse is gonna be the best person I've ever been with in my entire life. But that's neither here nor there. The reason behind me saying that is I would get so stressed out because I wouldn't have peace. And I know that makes absolutely no sense, but I feel like there's going to be somebody out there that's going through a situation where they met this guy, they met this woman, and she just seemed like she got the whole package. The body, like, bad. Personality, like, check. All of that. And then the whole time you ain't got no peace in your life. And you're like, I don't understand how this is the best woman I'd ever met, but I don't have no peace. And women, you like, this brother right here, God done took his absolute time. And the whole time you ain't got no peace. You like, I keep getting headaches, I'm stressed out, my skin breaking out, my body, it seemed like it's okay because I'm losing weight, but I'm not losing healthy weight. Whatever your situation is, right? Or you could be, healthy, eating right and stuff, but it just seems like your skin and your hair is just going crazy, and your body's fluctuating up and down. Like it doesn't look bad, but it's like you can't understand why you're not getting peace in your life. And it's because God's not in it. Sometimes we really try to make it harder than it has to be and trying to make it fit what we want it to be in our lives. And God is saying that thing is not for you. Sometimes we just have to listen to the discernment that God has given us and understand that although it looks great, it might not be grace for us. I know you want that man so bad because he just seems like the whole package. Like you ain't never met nobody like him before in your life, and you've never had somebody treat you like this man has treated you. But there will be another person that treats you well because you will refuse to be treated like anything less than God's best for you. So don't feel like there's going to be a scarcity of that type of man in your life. And that I have to make a disclaimer because there's going to be that one woman that's like, I'm going to just get rid of all these dudes when God is sending you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I'm saying that don't feel scarcity of any situation, but appreciate the rarity of each individual that God blesses in your life. So if God is telling you yes to someone, don't make up an excuse, self-sabotage, and get the person that's supposed to be in your life out. Keep that guy. But the person that's not giving you peace, that you feel like you got headaches all the time, you feel stressed out, you can't be yourself, your weight's going up and down, your hair just not shining, or the curls ain't popping like they used to, like all of that, you need to let that go. That's God telling you, that's your body telling you, get out, run, go. You got to do what you got to do, pack the bags. I mean, you just got to abort mission. You got to go. So, but I don't know if I'm the right person to say go, because I, in the past, was a runner, and I'm not bragging on that. That is not good at all, not even a little bit, because some people really do deserve a chance, and you really do have to give people the benefit of the doubt. Not be somebody's fool, but definitely treat people the way that you would want to be treated. If you want someone to give you an opportunity and not just leave when you make one mistake, then you should probably give the person the same grace that you would expect to be given, you know? So I'm just saying that because I want to do a disclaimer for that, because I'm not a relationship person. I'm just a person who's following my faith. I'm just a person who's learning like everyone else and trying to be a better person and trying to allow God to prepare me for the right person when he comes along, so that I don't I don't fumble the bag, so that I don't end up mishandling God's child. I want to make sure that I'm treating him with the dignity and the respect that he deserves, and that and he has a safe, seen place to be with me. And I'm not just acting like, oh well, like I want to make sure that I'm doing all the things that God intends for me to do for and with this person, and that I'm giving him the grace that I want to be given. So when you're in the season, I think it's really important to listen to God for discernment. And if he's saying yes, don't run. Like, step into it with a choice. Like, don't just run into it, but step and choose to really give this person a real chance, whether it's a friend, whether it's romantic, whatever it is in your life, a job opportunity. Go for it. If God is saying go for it, don't just sit back there and be like, oh well, it'll be another person. Like, no, if God is telling you yes, then yes, go for it. Do what you got to do. Get it together. Don't fumble that. Like, yes, God will spin the block, but don't just self sabotage something good in your life because of something that happened in the past. Don't just try to push someone away that is trying to really get to know you because you're too afraid. Because God did not give you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So know that fear is not of God. That is something that the adversary's planted there because that person's probably supposed to be a part of your life. So continue to be faithful and have hope, and really just keep seeking God for guidance in your relationship and the things that you're doing, so that he can show you how to treat this man, how to treat this woman, how to treat this friend, this person that's a part of your life, so that you can become better. And so one of the things that really stood out to me earlier today when I was thinking about how things look so similar, or you can see someone who's a bad person for you and they can look good for you, and you can see a good person that can look bad but really they look bad because you're afraid, not because they're actually a bad person for you. And a bad person doesn't mean they're just this evil, that's all Satan or anything like that. Usually it's just because they're not grace for you. And sometimes, yeah, the adversary can use a person to try to trip you up or make you fall or backslide or whatever else. But it's ultimately your choice, and you have to be able to make sure that like, don't. This is one thing. If I could tell anybody one tip that I think will save your life, don't underestimate your flesh ever. Whew, okay, now that we done said that, I'm serious, because I learned something when I was talking to this one lady. This one young lady is going through the season in her life. And as she was talking about it, one of the things that really stood out to me is never underestimate your flesh, because sometimes we feel like we can Netflix and chill. We can go to this thing. We can be in a car. We can go this place. We can do all of these things. And the whole time your flesh is weak, weaker than your soul, weaker than your relationship with God. And I know I'm saying that, and hopefully no Christians get offended or anything like that, but you could still have a relationship with God and still sin, still make mistakes, things like that. But the point of having a relationship with God is to turn to him when you are weak, and to not put yourself in situations where you are going to be weak, even if you think you're strong enough. Like, I was thinking in the past that my faith was so strong, I would never ever turn back, do anything, second guess anything that God's doing. I would just be on the straight and narrow, just completely focused forever and ever, the end, right? And then I had this situation that happened in my life, and it really made me think about, okay, well, if this happened, then, I know God is there, and I know God is doing things for a reason. His ways are not my ways, and his thoughts are not my thoughts. But emotionally, I was feeling like, oh my gosh, but, God, this, like, and even with relationships, God was like, you're going to be married or whatever else. And I was like, why? I want to be by myself. But I didn't want to be by myself because I really desired to be single. I wanted to be by myself because I was afraid, and because I felt like there wouldn't be a person that would treat me the right way. And so that's a whole nother story. But in that kind of faithlessness that I had towards relationships, it really made me think, okay, God, well, how could you say this and this be this and this be this? And I started really second guessing some things. And I thought that my faith was like, I thought me and God was like, poof, I thought we was tight. But we still good. We still tight. But instead of me being on fire, I underestimated the way that I was in that season and thinking that my faith was going to be stronger than a situation, stronger than anything that I could be going through in my life. And we really can't underestimate our flesh. We can't underestimate what we do in other situations. We can't underestimate any person that comes into our life. We really have to just, if there's a situation where you could be vulnerable, remove yourself from it. If there's a situation where you question something, be honest with God. Don't just lie to him and be like, oh God, I'm good. I'm just holy and sanctified over here. I'm good. God is good all the time. Like, instead of saying all the church colloquialisms and cliches that you can fathom, really just be honest with God and say, hey, God, I'm struggling in the season. I don't understand why it's so hard for me thinking about being in a relationship right now, but please change my heart posture so that I can be ready for the person that you have for me. God, I don't understand why I'm so weak in the flesh right now, but help me right now because I'm struggling in this season. And God will help you. You got to remove yourself from the situation, get far away from it, because God will always give you an opportunity to flee from anything that's wrong. So if you're in a situation, you're like, oh man, I don't know if I'm strong enough for this. God's gonna give you opportunity to back out and get away from the situation. So take that opportunity. Don't just say, well, I'm good. I recognized it, so I'm all right. No, you're probably not good. You need to get out while you can. Because you never know what's on the other side. And it can really damage your faith. It can ruin your walk. It can make you backslide. It can really damage what God has for you in the future. Sometimes we block our own blessings by being our own biggest enemy. So make sure that you really got to be real with yourself and don't underestimate what your flesh desires. Don't underestimate what other people's opinion or what the things that you see and hear has on your life, because it can completely change your perspective and make you choose something that God didn't intend for you to have in life. And while you're walking through this journey, just be honest with yourself. Really ask God for what you really, really want. So I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and this girl was saying, yeah, instead of saying a cute little prayer, really tell God what you want. You have not because you ask not. So instead of saying, oh God, I'm just so grateful for the life that you gave me, be grateful and content with your life. But that does not mean that you don't ask for more. That doesn't mean that you really don't strive for more, because broke Christianity is a myth. Like, if anything from God is going to be prosperous, not lackful. God is the God of abundance, not lack. So when you're praying, really ask for what it is that you really, really, truly desire, and then give it to God so that he can bless you with it. You don't have to feel like you can't tell God that you're angry or you're disappointed that it didn't work out with this person, or you really did want to be with that guy, and even though it didn't work out, or whatever else it is that you're struggling with in life, really go to him and be honest, because he will help you with discernment. He will be able to answer your prayers, and he will be able to show you where it is that he intends for you to go in life so that you won't be confused. God is not the author of confusion. Always remember that. So while you're going through life, don't lie to yourself. Really take this season to be honest with God and honest with yourself when you're struggling, when you're going through things, when you really are going through the season, any season in life. And one thing that really, really helps me before I go is, instead of being selfish, serve. When you don't know what to do, when you're in a waiting season, when things aren't going the way that you plan, when you really, really, really desire something, give it to somebody else. I don't mean just give away the guy that God has for you. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about give away the job that God told you you're supposed to be working at. I'm talking about, if you know that you want to be married and you have a friend that wants to be married, how about you help them with one of the things that it is that they really need to work on to be able to be ready for this man? It's mind, body, or soul. Either mentally they're not, educating themselves, or body, they don't want to eat right or exercise, or soul, they're not spending enough time with God, or their relationship with God isn't tight enough. Whatever one of the areas it is, help them work on that area, and really, really do it from a servant's place, not a judgmental place, so that they can get the thing that you desire as well. So both of y'all could be winning. because every time that I serve, when I'm waiting, when I don't know what to do, it really does fill my whole soul. Like I really feel so fulfilled, and I don't feel like I'm waiting anymore. I feel like I'm full, like I'm being completely fulfilled in life. So be honest and serve, and everything will be exactly as it's intended to be, and you'll get all the desires of your heart for those called according to his purpose. So don't give up on yourself. Keep going and know who and whose you are. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.